And we are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me today on today's live session. If you're here, please leave a comment. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. If you can see my guest, okay, please leave a comment in the comment section for me to know. Okay, I'm just going to check that I can see things appropriately on my end. Okay, I can't see the comments. I know it comes in a bit slower, so I'm just going to give it a minute to see.
Okay.
Hi, Miss Abigail. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining. Okay, so maybe we can just go ahead and start this. For any other person who comes, they'll be able to join us as we go. So, thank you everybody for joining me today. In today's video, we're going to be talking about alternative pathways for foreign trained nurses. So, the last time that I had Dr. Shei on my channel, she talked about the licensing process for foreign trained doctors in Canada. She did mention that the UK was an option that people can look at as well. And if Canada is the end goal, you can consider the UK as an option. That's for doctors. They have foreign trained doctors who have to go and train in the US, and then the process becomes easier for them in Canada. So I wanted us to talk about that for the nursing profession as well, because it does look like the normal nursing processes for foreign trained nurses right now. It's not the easiest thing for people to do. So I want us to look at these alternatives that people can look at. And if Canada is still the end goal, then you'll be able to translate what you have from the UK and the US to Canada. So today I'm joined by Lynda Esiri. She's a content creator, a YouTube content creator, and she does a lot. She knows a lot about the foreign trained about the process for nurses in the UK and the US. From what I understand, Lynda is certified in both these countries. You know what? I'm going to pass this over to you to do the introduction yourself and tell us what your background is like, and we can take the conversation from there. So over to you, Lynda.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good day, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Lynda Eze. I'm a registered nurse. I studied in Nigeria, but I'm also registered in the UK and in the US. And thank you so much, Marina, for inviting me for this. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I hope that at the end of this discussion, if you're considering any traveling to Canada to become a nurse, or UK or US, then maybe some of your questions will be answered.
Okay. So, Lynda, let's start from you. You said you trained in Nigeria, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then you are both certified in the US and the UK. Tell me a bit about that. Like, what was that transition process like? First of all, why did you decide to move from your training from Nigeria to get certified in two different countries? Tell me a bit about that process.
Okay, so I would say that first of all, I'm really grateful that I studied in Nigeria, because for some reason, for Nigerians, depending on the kind of education that you got in Nigeria, we have the diploma nursing and we have the degree nursing. So I did the degree nursing, and with that certificate, and actually practice in many countries. As far as you are able to pass any of those exams and go through the process, you have that opportunity. And one thing with practicing abroad, with my experience, is that it exposes you to a lot of opportunities, which I know, I'm very sure that if I'm still in Nigeria, I won't be able to. So that's one thing, just the opportunity to progress in my career, to experience practicing in other countries and all that. That was the major reason why I decided to explore these countries.
Nice. So, which one did you do first, the UK or the US?
Okay, so I moved to the UK first, because as of the time I came to the UK, it was really, really fast to come to the UK. It's easier than any other country, than most countries anyway. So that's the reason why I considered the UK first.
Okay, so let's talk about that process. Is it still easy now for foreign trained nurses from Nigeria and any other country to move to the UK? What does that process look like now?
Okay, so I would say yes, it is still easy, but it might not be as easier as it was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The reason is because at some point, a lot of nurses, I moved to the UK in 2018, and that period, a lot of Nigerians actually moved to the UK and to UAE and some other countries. So at some point, I'm not sure what happened, but they raised an alarm that a lot of health workers were moving to developed countries and all that. So the WHO came up with this list. They call it the red list. So if your country is in that red list, they said you cannot directly apply for jobs in some countries like UK and other countries. So it made it a bit difficult, but people still migrate to the UK, and it is still easier than most countries. So the only way it made it a little bit difficult is that when I moved to the UK, you can apply through agencies, and those agencies will make the steps like getting jobs and everything, even pay for your flight, your visa, and all of that. So it
Wow.
was a lot easier. It's just for you to write your exams and pass, and then you'll be able to get a job, because most times you have like so many jobs and then you choose which one you want. But now you can apply for those jobs directly. The agencies are not allowed to recruit from Nigeria and from some other countries directly, but you as a nurse, when you pass the exam, you have to look for a job by yourself. You have to go through all those processes by yourself, and in some cases even pay for your visa if your employer is not willing to sponsor that. So that's what makes it a little bit more difficult now, but people still do it. A lot of Nigerians still move to the UK.
Okay. So let's speak a little more about what the licensing process is like. Like if for
Okay.
say I'm a nurse, I'm in Nigeria and I'm interested in considering I really wanted to move to Canada, but Canada is not looking my way. I want to consider the UK as an alternative. Where do I start from?
Okay, so I will just make it as easy as possible so that if you're watching this video and you don't have a clue on what to do, so what you need to do is just go online and search register as a nurse or midwife in the UK as a foreign trained nurse, or as a
Okay.
foreign trained as a nurse trained outside the UK. So if you just make sure the key point is as a nurse trained outside the UK, so you'll be able, they will direct you to that NMC UK website that specifically describes the steps for nurses, for foreign trained nurses. So usually if you go to that website, if you go to that page, what you will see first is the pre-registration checklist. So that checklist has everything, like step by step, what you need to do if you are trained outside the UK, the requirements and everything. So in brief, what you need to do is you will need to be a nurse in your country, and then you need to have a valid license. That's the number one. So if you have that, you can actually start the process, and then you go through the self-evaluation. They call it the self-evaluation, and then you will need to upload your documents, anything that they ask you, like your school, your licensing, your licenses, your licensing body, and all of that. So once you're able to upload that, then they will verify it. You need to pay for the pre-evaluation anyway. So they will verify it, and then they will allow you to write their exam, the computer-based exam. So once you pass that computer-based exam, then you need to complete the registration. And completing the registration means you need to prove that you're able to speak English. That's where some people get stuck. Like you need to write, there are two exams that they accept now, the OET, Occupational English Test, and they also accept the IELTS. So those two exams, some
Is that
people
the academic, IELTS academic?
is IELTS academic. Yes,
Okay.
thank you for that. So the IELTS academic, and before it was 7 all through, but now it's 6.5. They accept 6.5 for writing, and then 7 for the other ones, the listening, speaking, reading. So now, if you are able to pass your IELTS and then you submit it and all of that, then you can go through the other processes, the immigration processes, the getting once you get your decision from the NMC, then you can go through getting a job and then getting yourself in the UK. But now the UK process, usually people advise that you start with the English exam, because even though they allow you to go through the evaluation and all of that before the IELTS stage, if you get to IELTS stage and you get stuck, then some people don't want to, it won't be good, because you must have wasted your money, or
Mhm.
maybe And also, usually people advise that you start from writing your English exam, OET or IELTS. And one tip I can give you is don't just look for shortcuts in this one, because I've seen a lot of people are saying that, oh, because I studied in English and in Nigeria, I'm talking about Nigerians now. So if you studied in English, they need you to, okay, there's this option that if you practiced in English and you can prove that you studied in English, they are going to accept it. So I've not seen many people that it's worked. That is if it worked for anybody. So some people will keep wasting their time that they want to get this proof from their
Like a waiver,
school
like a
or from
waiver.
here as a
Yeah.
waiver. By the end of the day, I've seen people that have gone through the circles and up till now, they are not in the UK. So try not to look for the shortcuts. Just do your best. If it is coaching that you need, go for any of those exams. If you decide to go for OET, just pursue OET, prepare and pass. Then if you are going for, usually if somebody is close to me, I would just say go for IELTS, because you can use it for a lot of things. You can decide to go to school, you can decide to use it to go for the US, you can decide to go to Canada and maybe some other countries as well, because you have that proof of English. So, but
Mhm.
OET is occupation based. So maybe you may not be able to use it for other things. As so, IELTS to me is actually a very good one to go for.
Okay. So can you give me like an idea of the kind of documentation that foreign trained nurses have to submit in this program? I know that there's the portion where is it for Canada, what they do is there's a portion, there are requirements that come directly from the school that you
Mhm.
attended, and there are requirements that come directly from like the certifying body in the country that you're coming from. Is that the same as the UK?
Yeah, it's the same for the UK. That's where that pre-evaluation the evaluation comes in
Okay.
before they now allow you to write the computer-based test. They need to know that your license, like I mentioned, you need to have a valid license. If it's in Nigeria, you need to have a valid license, or if you are from any other like Ghana or some other maybe Kenya, so you need to have that license. And the way they can say that your license is valid is through your nursing body in your
Okay.
country.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to um, submit all your verification to your own nursing body in your country. It's now your nursing body in your country that will send that they have verified all your documents to NMC UK. So when your own like NMC Nigeria sends your verification, your document like that they've verified your documents to NMC UK, that's when they will now say, okay, go ahead and write the exam. So after the exam, you will now complete the other one, like the English, the police report, the health check, and all of that. And then you prepare your CV and start looking for job.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, thank you very much. I've been chatting with Lynda Eze, and we've been talking about alternative pathways for foreign trained nurses. If Canada is not working for you, we're now going to we're talking about the process to the UK, and very shortly we'll talk about the US as well. Rashida, Fatu, Praise, and Z, thank you very much for joining. I see your comments now. I think the comments are coming in late. If you have a question that you would like Lynda to talk about, please do well to drop that in the chat box, and we will get to as many of them as we can. Okay, so Lynda, let's talk about the job application process for the UK. You have now gone through this verification process. What's the process to find a job, especially as a foreign trained nurse? What does that process look like? Is it hard?
Okay.
Is it easy? As in, is there preference for foreign trained nurses? How does that work?
Okay, so what I will say now is, because I understand the challenges of getting jobs recently from Ghana, from Nigeria, and from those countries. So what I would say from friends that moved to the UK this year and late last year and recently. So the one of the tips I will give you is, the track.jobs in the UK for NHS jobs, and then you have like nhsjobs.com, careuk.com. What I would say is that just spread your tentacles. Don't in the beginning say, oh, I just want to work for the NHS, and you just look for jobs in the NHS. I'm beginning to hear experiences. NHS is really good. I worked for NHS for
Mhm.
almost 4 years. So NHS is actually amazing. And for us, when I was choosing to work with the NHS, is because like it's government, and when you are getting the job from Nigeria, you're almost sure, oh, this is not going to be a scam and all that. So it is a good one. So, and they have vacancies upon vacancies every time. So go ahead and apply for so many of those. But to just spread your tentacles, also apply to care homes, right? Apply to care homes, and if you see private hospitals advertising, apply as well. And some people also message me on Instagram that they got jobs directly with, agencies, not like agencies recruiting them, but in the UK and in developed countries, usually they have agency nurses and they have nurses that are employed but in NHS and that. So some agencies
Sorry,
are
Lynda,
beginning to
just to
also
clarify, what does NHS mean for the people on the call who may not know?
is the what does it mean again? So it's like a government hospital in the
Is it
UK,
like an acronym for
National Health
something?
Service. Yes,
Oh, okay.
National Health Service. Yes, so
Okay.
it's national. So it's National Health Service in the UK. So it's like their government. It's the free healthcare for UK. So it's run by the government and it is free for the UK residents. So
Okay.
yeah, but they also have private hospitals as well, and they have care homes as well. So in care homes, some care homes are also private and some care homes are part of the NHS. So when you are looking for jobs in care homes, why I said you should also look there is if it is difficult for you to get a job in the NHS these days, some private care homes, you may be lucky to get jobs with the private care homes. So look for jobs in track the jobs for NHS, look for there's another one. It is actually long. So how you will find that website is when you say visa sponsorship jobs for nurses in the UK. So they call it FWR. I'm not sure, but it's very long. But when you go to that website, it talks about just visa sponsorship jobs for doctors, for nurses, and for other professions. It's not like just nurses. So look for jobs those places and apply to as many as possible. Again, is if you have anybody working in the UK already, like someone working in King's College, someone working in Chelsea or something like that, contact that person, ask whether they have vacancies, because sometimes maybe they will be able to know their overseas team, because usually they have overseas team that go to the Philippines to recruit nurses, or when they were recruiting in our time, they used to have opportunities for us to have interviews with them. So maybe if they have vacancies, they'll be able to know. They can tell them, oh, I have someone from back home that wants to come and practice here. When is your next interview or something like that? Some people have gotten jobs like that. So if you know someone that is practicing already, contact them and ask. Like, don't be shy to reach out to your friends that have already traveled. You can ask them, do they have vacancies in their hospital? Is there a way I can reach your overseas team? Those are the ways that you can get jobs now, because now it's very competitive. And then because of all this red list and all that, you want to just like spread your tentacles. Okay.
Okay. If you have any questions, like I said, please leave them in the chat box so I can read them for Lynda to address. So let's speak about the other part. You said you were certified in the UK and you're also certified in the US. Like, tell me more about that decision. Like, why did you decide to get certified in the US as well?
Okay, so when I was still in Nigeria, I tried to register in the US. Immediately I finished school. So they were at that time I just finished and I had like little experience. So and I wanted to apply through an agency. So the agency, and I think most of the agencies then, they kept saying you don't have experience, you need to work in a big hospital that has like a number of beds. And sometimes it's difficult to even get a job in teaching hospitals in Nigeria. You have to like wait and all of that. So I decided, because the UK took me just like 6 months for everything. And sometimes it takes people like 4 months. Once you are passing your exams, you can easily go to the UK. So that's what happened, because they were talking about the experience and all of that. So I just faced the UK, because once you get to the UK, it is easy. Because in Nigeria, we don't have the center for the one. You have to still travel to the UK or the Philippines and maybe India and some other countries to write the exam. But once you're in the UK, it's easy. You can write the exam easily. Then automatically, if you're working with the NHS and so most hospitals in the UK, you meet the bed number, you meet the big hospital requirements and all of that. So it is a lot easier. So because of that, I just decided to move to the UK first. So at least I know I have met the requirements and I can easily write my exams without traveling and all. That's what happened.
Okay. Dolapo, thank you very much. I see the comments where you put the National Health Services and patient Nick watching from Dubai. Thank you very much for joining. So do you want to speak a bit about what that process was like? the certification process for the US? Was it just the exam you wrote and you got certified, or was there anything else you had to do?
Okay, so for the US, if you want to get licensed in the US, their process um it's longer and it's a bit, let me say it's almost the same. It's not almost the same, but somehow like the UK, because first of all, you can't just go and write the exam. You have to apply through their credentialing body, the CGFNS. So the CGFNS is the credentialing body. Like you have to apply to them to verify your documents. So you have to what you need for it. They might not ask you for the English certificate, the CGFNS, but it depends on the state. So it's like Canada. It's not like it's not like UK, where once you get a license you can practice in the whole of the UK. In the US they have different states.
Oh
So first
yeah,
of all you
just
have
like
to,
Canada, different
yes,
provincially
with different.
administrated.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to practice in the US or you want to get a license in the US, first of all, you have to choose a state. So you have to like bear in mind, okay, I want to be registered in Texas, I want to be registered in Colorado or Florida and all of that. So once you've decided the state, then you go to CGFNS and then apply. They will need you to provide information about. For me, I provided from secondary school to university and then all your licensing, um, where you license, like because I'm licensed in the UK and Nigeria before then, so I had to provide information about my Nigerian license, my UK license, and just fill all the information. But for me, I started the from secondary school certificate and all of that. So once you have provided all those information, they will go through your documents, and then the even though you've provided your information about your licensing, you also need to apply to your school of nurse, your board of nursing in your country. So I had to apply to Nigerian board of nursing to verify that I'm their nurse, I'm registered, and I have an active license. You have to keep all your licenses active. So they will have to send that verification to the CGFNS. The same thing, I did the same thing for the UK. So I'll also tell them to send that I'm their nurse, to verify that I'm their nurse to CGFNS. So once they've received all your verification from your board of nursing, so then they will now verify all your documents and decide, okay, that you are good to write their exam. So once they have verified, then you can write the NCLEX. So what I usually say when I'm talking about the process is once you start applying to CGFNS, then you start getting ready for your NCLEX as well. For some people, it takes up to 3 months before you finish the CGFNS process. For some people, maybe if you experience delays and all of that, then you will need to, then maybe to take more time, but maybe on the average, usually 3 months. And then in that 3 months, if you have finished preparing for your NCLEX, some people it takes more than that, but 3 months and all that, if you're ready for your NCLEX, and then they issue you authorization to test, then you can write your NCLEX.
Okay.
Some states will require that when you are applying to CGFNS, they may request for maybe IELTS, like a proof of English. Usually it's not as high as the UK. I'm not sure. It depends on the state, like the type of, but for me, the state I used, I didn't have to provide my IELTS at that time. So, but maybe after you have finished your NCLEX, then you can and you pass, then you can submit a proof of English because you will need it for your visa screen.
Okay.
Okay, they also have other options apart from IELTS, but I use IELTS. So, and it depends on the state as well. Some states will also need you to, like for Texas, they will also need you to write additional exam in addition to NCLEX. It's just like the legal exam that you need to write. Nursing jurisprudence is like legal aspect of nursing. For
Mm-hmm.
some states, you don't need to write that. Okay,
Okay.
so I think that's just the summary of it.
Okay. So for everyone watching, and yes, you're in the nursing profession, I just wanted us to look at other options, like have alternatives if one part is not working, because nursing is an in-demand profession. If you do it in a different country, does it increase your competitiveness? If Canada is the end goal for you, you can consider these other countries first as alternatives, and then if Canada is actually the end goal, you can then transfer from these countries to Canada. From what I understand, from what Lynda was explaining to me earlier, the process might not be 100% different from if you were applying from Nigeria, but having this work experience from the US, work experience from the UK, especially the US, because the US and Canada, North America, they're quite similar. If you're bringing experience from these other countries, it then increases your competitiveness in Canada. So that's why I wanted us to look at these alternative options so that you don't just keep your focus on, I want to come to Canada, and that's where the entire focus is. If there are alternatives that make the Canada end goal a little easier and more realistic for you, is why we're having this conversation. Okay. So, Linda, let's speak a bit about the benefits, because there's a notion that, oh, nursing is an in-demand profession. As soon as you just get into nursing, you just be picking pounds and dollars from the ground. You don't even have to do any work. They'll just be flinging money at you. There's a lot of money in nursing. So let's talk about that, because I know that that's a misconception. I don't know any country where you'll be making money that does not require a commensurate amount of work or a commensurate
Exactly.
amount of risk involved. So let's talk about the benefits. What would you say now that you're certified? So you have 3 active licenses right now, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yes.
if you want to compare all of these experiences in terms of benefits and what the return has been like, can you tell me a bit about that?
Okay, so I would say that I was speaking to one of my classmates like last week that just moved to the US, and then we were just trying to just compare, and he was like, "This is not even comparable." Because to me also, I said like sometimes when we are talking about it in our nursing forums, we always say that it is not really comparable. Like comparing Nigeria now to practicing to in the UK or US, because it's different. It's different. So it's different in the sense that the practice is different
Mhm.
and the environment is different and what you're expected to do is different as well. And the type of patients or the type of is different as well. So what I can say is that practicing abroad is something that I believe, even if you want to go back to Nigeria to become a lecturer, sometimes I used to think that, in fact, I sometimes I feel like all my lecturers in school should just come and practice in in the UK or just go to the US, just practice, because it will make a whole lot of difference for us back home. I so much respect the knowledge that we gain from Nigeria, because without it, at least we won't be here. And we do a lot of theories. We work so hard, to get these certificates and still be able to pass foreign exams. So I'm really grateful for the kind of education we get in Nigeria and the kind of, the kind of hard work. Because if you see Nigerians, they also do so well, even though we don't have that kind of background. But when we come here, we still do our best. So the opportunity is there. You earn more. So you earn more, and then you have, if you want to have so many jobs, you can have so many jobs at the same time if you can. But for you to make that money, you need to put in the work. You put in
Okay.
the work, you work. It's not like you just come and you start making money. You have to be patient. Like, you have to be patient to start making a lot of money. You will make money, but you need to put in the work as well. So
Okay.
the benefit is enormous. I've seen so many people that move from Nigeria to the UK, and they are lecturers, even with the certificates that they got from Nigeria. They were able to move from one job to the other, even get senior roles, senior positions. So you have opportunities of like moving to other jobs, getting high paying jobs, changing, going for your for additional studies. You have a lot of trainings and all of that. So anything that you feel like you want to achieve as a person, the opportunity is there for you. I mean, so the benefit is just so much. So, and I encourage anybody that wants to have that experience to really go for it.
Okay, I'm considering it for myself as well. So I'm going to drill down on this a little. Like when you talk about high paying jobs, or how much can a registered nurse in the UK make? If you want to give us like a range of how what the lowest is, as in at
Mm.
entry level, what the earning potential of a foreign trained nurse in the US is, and to how high it can be. If you can provide a range, that would be great.
Okay, so I may not be as accurate as I may not be
No,
very
it's okay. We
accurate
can
in
we
this
can do an
one.
estimate. That's fine.
Yeah, so but for entry level nurses in the UK, they have like a national standard. I'm going to be talking about NHS now because that's
Okay.
where I work. And
Okay.
then um for the NHS, I think they have that standard, the entry of 24. I don't know if they've increased it now from 24,000 pounds or so.
Okay.
So if you Google online, you find the average, and that's what they offer to so many people when you are coming from abroad. And then if you work in high cost area, they will have to add like high cost area living allowance for you.
Allowance.
So if
Okay.
you're working in London, for instance, you get an allowance. Depending on where you're working, maybe it's in central London or outer London, so you have an allowance on top of that 24,000 in a year. So,
Okay.
and I've also noticed that in the care homes, some of them offer 40 something, 50 something, 30 something thousand pounds for entry positions in nursing. But I was talking to people that worked in the care homes, and they said that sometimes they offer that 30 something thousand pounds, 40 something thousand pounds, but it's actually based on per hour. So sometimes it will depend on how much you work there for you to be
Okay.
able
The
to
number
make
of
up to
hours
that
you
40
put in.
some. Yes, for you to be able to make that 40 some. But in the NHS, you know right from the beginning that you'll be earning from that 24 and above
Above.
when you're joining them. Yes.
Okay. So in the UK, would you consider 24,000 pounds? Is that considered competitive for salary? Is that considered a high
So
wage, or where does that fall in?
So I will say it's not low, but it's not the highest. I've seen people that earn much more. The only thing with nothing in the UK is that you can get jobs easily.
Okay.
But for it to be the highest paid, no, I've seen people that earn much more than that. The only thing is that you have opportunities to work as a nurse. So that's the only thing. And for you to increase that, you need to either maybe move to another organization that will pay you higher, or to put in more work, because you
Mm-hmm.
have opportunities of earning more if you're working, if you're working extra shifts, or maybe working with agencies or getting extra job. That's how nurses make their money. So if you're doing extra shifts, you're working with agencies, or you get a job that will offer you higher pay, or like I mentioned, that some people they change jobs in the sense that they go for senior positions in nursing, maybe start working for other organizations and all of that. And again, is going for senior positions as well, like where you work, you decide to apply. Usually, they don't consider, they don't usually ask you to study, to have a master's degree or something. If you're able to lead, you can go for maybe band six. Usually, the entry position for nurses is band five. You can go for band six position, band seven position, become a manager in a care home, and then you'll be able to earn more. So that's how it works in the UK.
Okay. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat box to see if there are any questions coming in. I don't see any questions coming yet. So
Mm.
as we begin to wrap this up, um, Lina, would you say there are tips that you can share with foreign trained nurses who are considering the UK or the US as alternatives beyond
Mm.
just the official documentation process that they have to go through? Is there anything else that you think might be useful for foreign trained nurses to pay attention to, just to help them in the process while they're waiting for all of this to fall into place? Are there any tips, any hacks that you like to share?
Okay, so some of my best tips for anybody that wants to migrate to the UK or the US or Canada is to just start from somewhere. Like, stop making excuses like saying, oh, the exam is so hard, or the exam, or you're still looking for alternatives, or are they going to accept this, or are they going to accept that? I've mentioned that in the beginning. So just, if you decide to go to the US and it's taking long, I will share one thing that I noticed, that some people that I work with here, foreign nurses from other countries, what they do is that most times, many of them they've worked in UAE, they've worked in Dubai before they came to the UK, or then they decided to get their NCLEX. So most times they don't wait to, if UK is wasting time, they will just go to UAE or go to
Mhm.
Dubai or some other countries. That experience, that when they're applying from the UAE, it's easier for them to now get a job in the UK or to not get a job in the US. So for some people that are in my group that are registered in the US, I noticed that almost everyone, they've either worked in the UK or they've worked in the UAE. So even Nigerians, most of them, I'm surprised, many of them worked. Some people come directly from Nigeria, but many of them, they've worked in the UK, they've worked in the UAE, and even before the place I worked last in the UK, so many of the new nurses, they came from UAE. They are Nigerians, but they've worked somewhere else. So don't limit
And I see
yourself.
a
There are a
question
lot
just
of.
I saw a question just coming in the comment section about somebody who's working in Dubai. So maybe I can ask that question and you can use this person's question to just share the tips and the hacks that this person needs to know. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, it says, Linda, please, how can one start the process? I'm a registered nurse from Cameroon, currently working in Dubai as a nurse. I have a DHA license and I want to proceed with NCLEX. So please, can you speak to this?
Okay, so if you want to write the NCLEX, it's just what we've already discussed in this video. Just start going through the NCLEX, just start going through the process for NCLEX. If you want to, there are in the US for to get licensed in the US, there are two ways people do it. They either go through the NCLEX process by themselves by registering with CGFNS, like going through the process, submitting your documents and everything to CGFNS, getting your authorization to test and preparing for the NCLEX by yourself. And then when you pass the NCLEX, then you will now decide whether to go through direct hire or to go through an agency. People do that. And some other people like me, what I did, I just started with an agency right from the beginning. So they helped with like maybe making the process for CGFNS faster, suggesting the best dates for me to use, like making the whole thing just faster for me, and even paying for some of those processes. So some people believe that when they go through the NCLEX process by themselves, they now have that better chance of deciding whether to go through an agency or even getting the job by themselves. So they have like better autonomy. That's what people believe. And I think it works for some people. But if you're confused and you know that sometimes maybe you don't have that motivation, or maybe you think that maybe at some point you change your mind, maybe an agency will help you because they will remind you to study. They will remind, some of them have like NCLEX prep um, programs for people that register with them. So maybe they will help you with the motivation. And what I can say is that don't be in a hurry to skip some steps. Anybody living abroad, and I can say that Marina will attest to this, when you move to a foreign country, you need that patience. You need the patience. Like
Absolutely.
it's not immediately you get there, everything will just be as relaxed. You like you have to settle, get used to the environment and everything. So it's even when you do the process by yourself and you get there, you still need that time to still settle. So even if you decide to use an agency, just tell yourself that it's not forever. It's just 2.5 years, 3.5 years, you'll be fine. And that 2.5 years, 3.5 years, use it to learn the environment, use
Mhm.
it to plan, use it to ask questions, and then you can now start doing any other thing you want to do. So if you know you're confused, if you know that you're somebody that is not going to be determined or something like that, just go to an agency. They will help you from the CGFNS and all of the preparation. But if you feel that you can motivate yourself to study and all of that, just go to CGFNS and start the process. If you have your active license from Ghana, is it Ghana, she said, and then
Cameroon. From
Cameroon,
Cameroon.
if you have your active license from Cameroon and you have your active license from Dubai, then just start the CGFNS process and make sure you provide us with information from the beginning so it will be easy for you.
Okay. Patience, if there's more specific information you're looking for, Linda is on YouTube at Lynda Esiri. I've put it on the screen for you to go check out and maybe send like a follow-up message if there's more clarification you need in this process. Fatu is saying, what am I considering again? I too like book. No, I'm not
Okay.
considering anything else. I was just
Okay.
teasing. I'm not considering anything else. I just
Okay.
Connor, thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks, sis. So Linda, as we begin to wrap this up, is there anything else that I've missed? Something you want to speak on that I maybe haven't asked about that you think would be beneficial to somebody who's watching this video?
Okay, I just want to say that if you want to just move to any of this, just don't overthink it, just go for it. Go for it. I know sometimes you may be considering the cost, because I know it's something that people also consider. Assuming you want to go to the US, you must have heard that it's expensive and it takes a long time. But I see people that write this exam with pregnancy. I've seen people that still did it even from Nigeria. Sometimes I'm like wondering how they do it from Nigeria, but people still do it. So will I say one big tip I can share with you is just start from somewhere. If it is UK, start with IELTS. Just I didn't even know how much I spent for my UK process because the first thing I saved was just for IELTS. How the other money started coming and all of that will now be secondary. So if you start and you see that first success, you will see that other processes you can go through it.
True.
Okay. And then if it is US you really want to go to, there are so many ways you can do it. If you follow my own process, you'll be happy because when you get to the UK, maybe you will start thinking, oh, maybe I should just stay in the UK. And if you want to write your NCLEX exam, you just wake up in the morning and go to the place and write instead of considering like the visa to considering the visa to Philippines and all of that. So just start from somewhere, right? If it is US and you don't have a lot of money, then consider going to Dubai or consider going to the UK. Start working. Then you will see that it's easy for you to write the exam. It's easy for you to apply for visa. It's easy for you, like you can, at least you'll be able to foot the bill, even if you don't want any agency to help you. So you will not be worried so much about the cost because something again is some people will be saying, what if I go to the UK and write the NCLEX or go to Philippines and I fail? Most people just get discouraged because they don't want to, they will check the money that they've already wasted going to write the first exam. So they will just give up. So just start from somewhere, okay? Start from somewhere. And once you get that first success, it will help you to go through the whole process, okay? So thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much, Lynda. I appreciate you taking the time to share this information with us. For everybody who's watching, I hope that you found this really helpful. If you are considering moving to Canada as a nurse and that's not working, consider alternatives. The experience that you gather from all these other countries will still be relevant when you move to Canada. The additional experience is just going to put you in a position where you become more competitive. So open up your options. I understand how it is to say, okay, this is what I'm focused on, and that's the only thing I'm going to consider. But if it's not working, a change of strategy is needed. Because if the licensing process in one country is too long, too expensive, it's taking way longer than you anticipate, another alternative might just make that process shorter for you. Okay. So open up your options, open up your heart. See Patience Nick is sharing Cameroonian, but she's working in Dubai. So if you want to look at all those other countries around you first and how it puts you in a more competitive position for countries like the UK, the US, and ultimately Canada, if that's where you want to move to, time has come for you to consider the alternatives. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Not a lot of questions came in. I take it that Lynda did an amazing job and she clarified everything people would have asked even before they had the chance to ask. So thank you very much, Lynda. I appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'll come to you tomorrow morning live at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, which is like 4 p.m. West African time for our new video. But until I come to you in the next live broadcast, I just want to say thank you again for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, Lynda.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so much.
joining.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Don't forget to check out Linda's channel on YouTube. Okay. It's at Lynda Esiri. Please go and check, subscribe. There's more information there. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.